All right, so here we go. I'll just throw some stuff at you here. We'll have a little chat.
Sure.
Well, this time of year, many people are considering charitable donations. And well, originally they might think of just money out of their pocket. There are various options. Michael, let me take that. Take two. See, good, we can edit. Here we go.
Sure thing.
Well, this time of year, many people are considering charitable donations at the end of the 2020 calendar, and there are plenty of options. Michael John Coy joins us now from Coy Wealth Management and RBC Dominion Securities. And right off the bat, Michael, people think of charitable donations as money out of their pocket, but as you talk to clients, I know there are many options when it comes to dealing with charities. Let's have a chat about that. First of all, what comes to mind right off the bat, and maybe one of the common things people need to keep in mind?
Well, sure. And, we're all spending so much more of our time sitting around at home. You can see I'm in my home office, got the exercise ball, got my, some of my other stuff going on back there, some books and so on. When one of the great things we can do is sit around during this COVID time and think of ways to save tax. So why not? So giving to charities this year more than ever, before the end of the year is something people should really consider. I mean, charities have been hurting. They can't all do the same kinds of fundraising. Who's been to a gala this year? Nobody, right? But the need still remains. And, a lot of those people are part of the United Way family. And, United Way is looking for funds as well. The needs in the community do not stop. In fact, in many cases, it's increased during this time as people fall onto hardship, or as the usual supports are not available, or the support maybe costs more than it used to because it needs to be delivered in a socially distanced way. So the need is huge, and are there ways to support charities like the United Way? And there are. So Terry, let me tell you about one important one. So when you think about making a donation, you often think about just pulling out your checkbook, getting your pen, writing a check. How big is your heart? Does your heart feel at the moment, right? And that's what determines the amount. So, and it's true, you get a tax, you get a tax credit for doing that. But are there other ways? And there is another way of making a donation. We talk about it with our clients. Charities talk about it with their people who they're regular donors, and it's this. So, think about your non-registered investment account. So this is not your RSP, it's not your tax-free savings account, it's not your RESP, your registered education savings plan, it's none of those things. It's the non-registered account. And maybe you've had some cash, maybe it's built up, maybe you have a savings plan at work or something, and you've invested that 100,000 or more, and it's grown over the years. Maybe think about some shares that you inherited from your mom and dad when they passed away. That's also very common. You've got some Imperial Oil shares, or maybe you got them yourself when you started at Imperial Oil, and those shares you haven't done anything with, and they've just grown and grown and grown in value. Okay, maybe not so much recently, but they've grown in value. So think about what you can do with those shares. I talked about the check. You've got the check there, and you've got these shares here. And you can actually donate the shares to the charity. Now, why would you donate $1,000 worth of shares instead of $1,000 worth of cash? Well, the reason is the following. So these shares, let's say they've gone up in value. They were originally $10, now they're 30 or 40 bucks. So there's a big capital gain there. And normally when you sell those shares, you have to pay, I shouldn't say normally, always, when you sell those shares, you have to pay a capital gain. And the capital gain is about 25%, okay? It works out technically a little bit differently than that, but let's just say 25%. So 25% tax. So if your capital gain, if it's gone up by $1,000, you're gonna have to say goodbye to $250 approximately. Now, if you donate those shares that have gone up in value, you don't pay the $250. You don't pay the tax on the capital gain. You get a charitable gift receipt for $1,000, the same way as you would for the check. But the difference is down the road or that day or at any point, you don't have to pay that $250. So that's pretty significant.
Makes sense from that standpoint, because you're right. If you sold those $1,000 in shares, you would have 750. We're rounding off numbers here. You'd have 750. Then you could give 750 to charity, Or, as you said on this other side, you could give the $1,000 worth, get the tax receipt for the $1,000, which then, of course, you can use at income tax time and the benefits of that. Do you find this is one thing that people maybe have sort of are gradually learning about, where the easy thing people just consider normally is, as you said, the old checkbook thing, rather than knowing there are other options, that maybe slowly people are learning of this?
That's right. I mean, not everybody falls into this category, for one thing. I mean, you have to have some shares that have stuck around for a while. Then it's not just shares, it may be mutual funds, that's fine. It might be an exchange traded fund that you bought some years ago, has gone up in value. It could be US stock. Now it's true, we don't always have these lying around in a non-registered account. Maybe we don't think about it, but do take on the little bit of homework. That is, when you sit down to do your end of year financial review with your financial advisor, with the institution that you're dealing with, just say, do I have any unrealized capital gains, right? Unrealized means you haven't paid the tax on them yet. Do I have any capital gains that I'm gonna have to pay tax on down the road? And they will say, yes, you do, or no, you don't. And if you do, definitely it's a consideration. So we do this for clients. We do it on a pro bono basis. There's no commission, there's no extra charge or anything. And we're really happy to handle that transaction for them.
How easy is it, or is it complicated at all to arrange that, where, for example, deciding to transfer shares from your portfolio over to, say, the United Way of Sarnia-Lambton?
Yeah, so it's a really seamless process, and our business is set up to handle transfers like that. So the typical way is just one or two steps. One is go to the United Way website, and they will have a form there, or another charity. Typically, they'll have a form there, and that has all their their brokerage information, and you fill that out and then bring it to your financial advisor and say, look, I want those shares that are in my account to go here, and they'll share the information, and then we do it. It's a very quick simple, quick process that we do in the kind of the back office, and then a day or two later, those shares appear in the in the charity, and then what happens is we report that to CRA, and they're not going to give you a charitable gift receipt. They're not going to give you a
Capital
tax
gain
reporting for that, any capital gain reporting, and the charity for their part will give you a charitable gift receipt for the amount that those things are worth on the day that you transferred them. So
is the moral of the story here to not be afraid to ask those questions. And I'm sure so many people just sort of sit on what they have and not know what their options are, where yes, that person who generously got out the checkbook, as you say, maybe had another way to do it more effectively. And even when people down the road look at estate planning and how they can handle their investments and where charities come into that as well, it sounds like one of the big things is to have those conversations with someone who deals with this professionally, just like you talk to your medical professional, talk to an investment professional, to know that you can make the most effective way. And as you said, sometimes make things more efficient when it comes to paying tax.
Absolutely. So you may think that it's kind of a private thing, you want your charitable giving to be private, and so you write a check at the end of the year and leave it at that. Just have that conversation with your financial advisor. Say, I've been supporting these folks for a while and I've been writing checks. Is there a better way? And can you help me do that? So that's one thing. You mentioned, Terry, another great point, which is estate planning. If you have plans to give to charity in your will, right? Might be a set amount. Blue Water Health, United Way, I want them to get a chunk, maybe not everything, but a certain amount. Make sure in your will that you have some extra lines that allow your executor to donate shares. You don't know what your portfolio is going to look like in 20, 30, 50 years time, but you want your executor to have that option, that if it's going to be to the advantage of your inheritors to save some tax, then you want to make sure that they're empowered to do that.
Well, Michael John Coy, we appreciate the time. We know it's a busy time of year, but we also know it's certainly very important information. So we appreciate this little bit of info, and certainly we suggest people to talk to their advisor or someone they trust professionally to go through this. But we appreciate the time, and all the best of the holidays to you and yours.
Thank you. Been great to participate. Take care.
Perfect, just like that.